What's going on, everyone? It's JJ Zachariason here for one final start-sit show. 16 in a row. This is week 16. It's championship week. I'm very excited, not only because it's championship week and I've got some championships to win, but it's been a long season. I appreciate all you guys tuning in and asking these questions. Hopefully they've guided you in the right direction. Now let's win these championships. First one from Nick with the Browns news, which is the news, by the way, is that the Browns wide receivers are close contacts for COVID-related purposes. So their wide receivers aren't playing in this game. So Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, they're not in, which means they have practice squad guys, and they're going to probably run a lot of their tight ends and use them heavily as receivers. So the question here is Harrison Bryant over Cole Kmet. I think Harrison Bryant has a higher ceiling probably, but I think Kmet's a little bit safer. Next question, Baker, Cam, or Dalton in 6-point touchdown. I might lean Dalton there. It's really tough to trust Baker with the news of the wide receivers. I mean, that game could easily just be really run heavy for them. It could be very inefficient for Baker. So yeah, I mean, I think that I might go Dalton in that scenario. I do think Cam probably has the highest ceiling because of his rushing though. Hurts over Herbert is a no-brainer, right? 6-point passing touchdowns. Yeah, I think I'd go Hurts over Herbert. Pollard or Sanders if Zeke sits. Well, Zeke is going to play, so we're going to go with Sanders. Looking for a flex in PPR, Antonio Gibson, Corey Davis, or Pollard if Zeke is out. So Zeke is playing. I am going to go with probably Corey Davis since it's PPR league. But I do think Antonio Gibson's going to see a decent workload in this game. It's a plus matchup too. So I don't mind Antonio Gibson today. I think he's a pretty firm RB2. Looking at the entire week, not just today. But I think he's a decent enough play. But I think Corey Davis in a decent spot too. Full PPR, Antonio Gibson, Deontay Johnson, or DJ Moore. I'd probably go with Gibson, but I think Deontay Johnson's the safest bet there. And then 4 points per touchdown pass. You have Diggs. Opponent has Diggs. Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. If you're an underdog and your opponent has Diggs, I might go with Jalen Hurts. But if you're a favorite and you're feeling good, then go with Josh Allen. Hey, JJ, full PPR, pick one. Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, or J.K. Dobbins. I think I'd still go with Taylor, but Melvin Gordon is very, very close. I like Gordon and Dobbins today. Man, that's actually rough. Maybe I might go with Melvin Gordon of those three. Very, very tough, though. They're basically back to back to back. Baker Mayfield or Andy Dalton, already talked about that one. Hey, JJ, living the stream, pick one of each half PPR quarterback, Hurts or Allen. Straight up, I think Josh Allen's safer, but I think Hurts, has a lot of upside appeal. So I don't have a strong opinion there. I'm not going to steer you in the wrong direction and say I confidently feel one way or another. Wide receiver Claypool, Ward, Hanson, Hall. That's Marvin Hall for those of you who haven't been caught up on the Brown situation. But I'm going to go with Chad Hansen there. Half-point PPR, Robert Tonyan or Noah Fant. I'm going to go with Noah Fant. Hey, JJ, half PPR championship game. Need help with my flex between Mike Davis, J.K. Dobbins, or Le'Veon Bell. To me, it's between Dobbins and Bell. Davis in a really tough matchup, and he's losing a little bit of work as well. I think Dobbins is probably the play there, but Bell obviously has a lot of touchdown upside. Pollard, Zeke, Fant, Gage, or Mike Williams in PPR as a slight underdog. So I don't know how this Cowboys backfield is really going to shape up. So to me, it's one that you generally probably want to avoid. Noah Fant, don't mind him this week. Russell Gage, don't mind him this week. But I'm going to go with Mike Williams, where Keenan Allen's likely not going to play. I think Mike Williams is in a great spot against Denver. The Browns or the Texans defense, thanks. I'm still going to go with the Browns, even though, I don't like them nearly as much as I did, say, 3 days ago or even yesterday, because they might not see that positive game script that we like with all these wide receivers out. But I still am going to go Cleveland over Houston. Hey, JJ, thanks for all the help all year. I'm recovering from Kamara ruining my Christmas. I was there too. I understand that. Need the best ceiling play. Pick one, Gio Bernard, J.D. McKissick, Mike Davis, Darrell Henderson in half PPR. I think of those guys, Darrell Henderson is probably the ceiling play because I do think he has multiple touchdown upside. You might look at Gio Bernard and say, great matchup. He did it last week, but yeah, he only did it last week. That's really all we've seen, that type of ceiling from Gio Bernard. So I might go with Henderson there, but I think it's close between him and Gio. PPR need two, Gibson, Carson, Gio, Gage. I'm slightly favored, but frozen with indecision. I will go with Gibson and Carson there. Bills defense or the Bears defense versus clearly tanking Jag teams. I am going to go with the Bears. Let's see. Half point PPR, pick 2, Gio, Mike Davis, Beasley, or Pollard. I will go with Gio and Beasley. Thanks for all the help, JJ. Ingram, Jonnu. Actually, I might go Gio, Mike Davis if you need more of a floor there. Thanks for all the help, JJ. Ingram, Jonnu, or Donald Parham, who I like a lot this week, especially over on FanDuel. He's only $4,200. Of those, though, I'm still going to go Jonnu. I'm actually playing Jonnu over Parham in a matchup. I like the game environment a little bit more. I know it's snowing tonight, so it's a little bit of a hit of that game environment. But Jonnu saw more work this past week. I think he's back, if you will, a little bit. Maybe not to what we saw at the beginning of the season, but I think Jonnu's a fairly good play. But I do think Parham's pretty close. I would be playing Parham over Evan Ingram, though. PPR need to start 2 from Juju, Guyton, Chenault, QT, and Marvin Hall. I will go with Juju and QT there. Gio, Marvin Hall, or Corey Davis in standard. I'm going to go with Corey Davis. Hey, JJ, need one of Hilton, QT, Deontay, or Hollywood. I'm going to go with Deontay. JJ Z, thanks for another great year. You're welcome. I appreciate you tuning in. One last time, PPR, Zeke, Pollard, or Goddard needing a little upside today. Thanks. I mean, I don't think Goddard is necessarily the play, but it's going to be really tough to choose between Zeke and Pollard. I guess you go with Zeke, but it wouldn't shock me at all if Pollard's the guy, just because Zeke is playing with that injury. So I don't have a strong opinion here. I think one of the running backs have the most upside if that's what you need. But if you don't want to deal with that backfield mess, I can understand if you want to go with Goddard. Have to pick between Zeke and Pollard and PPR. Which one do I roll with? Guys, I'm telling you right now, I don't know. It's impossible to know. I can tell you that when Zeke has been healthy this year, he's the one who's seeing the majority of the backfield snaps and the workload in that offense. So I'm going to lean Zeke. I just think that's the most logical thing to do. But it's very easy to see a path to Tony Pollard just being the guy today because Zeke is coming off that injury. Hey, JJ, got a dead even matchup. What 2 in PPR out of Claypool, T. Higgins, and Gage? I'm going to go with Gage and T. Higgins because Chase Claypool is just not seeing the work that we need him to see. Baker or Rivers, my opponent picked up every other quarterback. Rivers is without some offensive line pieces, which are pretty important. Baker in the better matchup. I think I'd still go with Baker, but it's close. It's very, very close. That's how far Baker has dropped as a result of these exposures. Half PPR, Pollard or Henderson. I'm going Henderson. Goff, Teddy, or Locke. I am favored having Kamara, so higher floor is probably best. If you need a floor, look, Teddy against Washington, not a great matchup. Locke against the Chargers, a good matchup, but it's Drew Locke. So we've seen a low floor. I think Goff might be the play there if you just need a floor. Need a running back and a flex, full point PPR. Darrell Henderson, Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson. That's really, really tough, actually. I think Kareem Hunt is in store. Since this is a full point PPR league, I think Kareem Hunt could see an uptick in volume as a receiver, so I'm going to go with him. And since it is full PPR, I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson too, leaving Henderson on the bench. Now, of course, Henderson could blow up, but he hasn't been utilized that much as a receiver. Malcolm Brown has played that role, so he's going to be fairly touchdown dependent. I think he's fine. I think he's a solid enough RB2 play, but I do like Kareem Hunt a little bit more with the situation as a receiver than I did before. Pollard, Goddard, or Jacoby Myers in full PPR. I don't know how you go with Myers just because they're not throwing the ball that much. So it's Goddard or Pollard. I think Pollard has the higher ceiling. His floor is 0, is very little. I might go with him and just hope that they rest Zeke more than we expect, but not a strong opinion there for me. Love the pod always. I appreciate it. Gibson or Moss in full PPR. Thanks, JJ. I would go with Gibson. Need a running back and a flex, full point PPR. Mike Davis, Antonio Gibson, JD McKissick, Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins. I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson and Deontay Johnson. Gibson or David Johnson at the flex and half PPR. That one's pretty close. I mean, Gibson's a little bit risky just because he's coming off that injury. So David Johnson's the safer bet. It was utilized a lot as a receiver last week. Good matchup. I think you can go with David Johnson there. Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts? That's the question everyone's been asking. No strong opinion from me. I think Josh Allen's a little bit safer, but Jalen Hurts obviously has a massive ceiling. Half PPR with Gibson being activated. Would you flex him, Cooper Kupp, Darrell Henderson, or Deontay Johnson? I think Gibson has a higher ceiling than those guys, if that's what you need. I would say that Deontay Johnson's probably the floor play, then Cooper Kupp somewhere in the middle. But I don't think Henderson is in the same tier. Torn between Taylor and Gibson in half PPR. Yeah, I mean, I'm torn about that too. This is just one of those scenarios. A lot of these guys that we're talking about, whether it's Zeke, Antonio Gibson, we don't know exactly what their workloads are going to look like. But judging off of reports saying that Gibson is going to see a decent workload, it's a plus matchup. I think that you can make the case, but I would still probably go with Taylor if you need more of a floor. Downgrading the Browns defense, play the Bills over them now. I think you can play the Bills over them now if you want to. They're probably in the same tier at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's a definite downgrade. If you were to ask me that question, yesterday or 2 days ago, I would have said the Browns defense, but not anymore. For instance, I'm playing Chicago over Cleveland now. I played Arizona yesterday, which didn't go as planned or as well as I wanted it to, over Cleveland because of this wide receiver situation. Hurts or Herbert, I would go Hurts. I'm in a tough spot. Do I start Zach Moss, Frank Gore, or Malcolm Brown? I think Malcolm Brown, Frank Gore I wouldn't go with. Malcolm Brown, he has the receiving potential. He has the goal line potential as well. I think that he's probably the upside play. I might just go with him just because we should be looking for upside anyway. So let's just go with Malcolm Brown there. Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson. I think I'm still going Lamar Jackson. Amari Cooper or Tyron Johnson. I'm going Amari Cooper. Torn between Gibson and Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, that's another very, very close one. I think Bell is safer, if you will. I think he has a lot of touchdown upside, but I think Gibson is the guy who would give you the highest ceiling. So it depends on where you're at heading into this game. Hurts or Allen. Opponent has Diggs. Again, talked about this one earlier. This is a very common question. If you're a favorite and your opponent has Diggs, then play Josh Allen because that won't allow your opponent to come back in such a big way. But if you're an underdog, you can play Jalen Hurts because him versus Josh Allen isn't that significant. I mean, obviously, I've been talking about it. I don't have that strong of a feel either way. So if you're an underdog, you know that your opponent has Diggs. Then if you play Josh Allen, then you know that your opponent is gaining because Josh Allen targets Stephon Diggs so much. You know that your opponent isn't necessarily losing anything off of you because you have that correlation. So if you're an underdog, go with Jalen Hurts. Already starting Miles Sanders to starting Hurts over Lamar cap my upside. I'd say it caps your upside a little bit. I like Lamar still a little bit more than Hurts straight up. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind using both Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts in a lineup if that's the question too. Morning dog, Gibson, Gus Bus, or Pollard in half PPR. I'm going Gibson there. Gio Bernard or T.Y. Hilton, I will go Gio Bernard. Deontay or DJ Moore in full PPR, I'm going to go with Deontay. McKissick or Pollard at the flex. Again, McKissick floor, Pollard ceiling. That's the way that I'm kind of viewing these ambiguous backfields. Robinson of the Rams or McKissick on Washington. Do you mean Henderson on the Rams? If it's Henderson versus McKissick, I'm going to go with Henderson. Robinson, I'm blanking. I'm assuming you mean Henderson because it's a generic American last name. Full PPR flex, T. Higgins, Russell Gage, Gio, or Tony Pollard. If I'm picking one, I might go with T. Higgins. No Tyler Boyd. Great matchup for him this week. Hunt or Gio, I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. Who's going to be the running back for Jacksonville? To me, it's going to be Divine Azigbo. No James Robinson means that the early down work is likely going to be going to the bigger bodied or the guy who can handle that, which is Divine Azigbo. And then the receiving work is probably Dare Agumbawale, which is not ideal. I mean, this is not a scenario. They're playing the Bears too. This is not a scenario where you really want to target the Jacksonville backfield. The allure with James Robinson is, number one, he's been good, yes. But number two, he sees such a massive backfield share. And now that backfield share is likely going to be split in some way. So I don't think that any Jacksonville running back is really all that trustworthy. They're RB3s for the most part. But if you want the touchdown upside, I think Divine Azigbo would be that guy. Gage or Henderson in half PPR, I will go with Henderson over Gage. David Johnson, just lost my spot. It just refreshed. There's a lot more questions than I thought. You guys are in a lot of championships. This is good to see. Let's see. PPR need highest upside. Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Tyron Johnson, go with Deontay. Standard league flex play, Zeke or Beasley. I have Allen playing against Diggs. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Zeke has more touchdown upside, but again, it's very, very risky. I can't say that confidently because I know as much as a lot of you guys do. All I can say is what I said earlier, and that's that, when Zeke has played this year, he has seen a pretty big backfield share. And if he's going to be active, this is a big game for them. I think that they're still going to feed him in some way. Probably lean Zeke there since it's standard. If it was a PPR league, I'd probably go with Beasley. Tim Patrick or Jamison Crowder. I like them both today, actually. Tim Patrick in a plus matchup, but Jamison Crowder is facing a Cleveland defense that's been horrific against slot receivers this year. So I'm actually going to lean Crowder there, but it wouldn't shock me if Tim Patrick has a better day. Full PPR, Tony, James Conner, or Frank Gore. I don't know who Tony is. I'm blanking on Tony. Is that Antonio Gibson? I'm just gonna skip that one. Standard League, Mike Davis or Gio Bernard. I'm gonna go Gio Bernard. Half PPR pick 2, Tunyon, Fant, or Cooks. Is that Brandon Cooks? Yes, I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks and Noah Fant. Gibson or Carson. I'm going with Carson. I have the exact same dilemma in one of my championships. I'm just playing it safe. Half point, Hanson, Robbie, or Juju. I'll probably go with Robbie there, but I think Juju's close. Need 2 in standard. Hurts is my quarterback. Rager, Gage, Lamb, Myers, Guyton. I think Gage is probably your play for 1, and then probably would go Lamb with the other. Half point PPR need 2, Gio, Mike Davis, Mike Williams, and Beasley. I love Mike Williams today. I'm going to go with him, and I'm going to go with Gio. Need 1, Zeke, Gage, QT, or Tyron Johnson. Half PPR flex. I am going to go with Zeke probably, but I think Gage is close. Hardman or Mooney. I'm going to go with Mooney. Getting crushed by Kamara and Mike Evans. Need this. I mean, if you can come back from Alvin Kamara and Mike Evans after what they did, then props to you. You need to go for ceiling here. Your options are Antonio Gibson, Gus Edwards, or Tony Pollard. You guys always use nicknames. Very hard to think on the fly. So it's Antonio Gibson, Gus Edwards, or Tony Pollard. I'm going with Antonio Gibson. Hey, JJ, killed it again this year. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. I have Kamara and Waller in the books already. Congratulations. He has Kyler and Thielen in. Big favorite at this point. Do you go with the floor of Watson or the ceiling of Hurts? I would probably just go with Hurts, but because I don't think their floors are that dramatically different. I just think Hurts is the better play. Lamar or Hurts, I'm going to go with Lamar. Hilton, Cooks, or Gage, I'm going to go with Cooks. Ingram or Schultz in PPR, I think I'm going with Ingram there. Antonio Gibson or David Johnson. I think David Johnson's a little bit safer, but Antonio Gibson might have the ceiling. I'd probably go with DJ, though. Hi, JJ. Thanks for a great season. Thank you. Bell or Kareem Hunt. If it's a PPR league, I think you can make the case for Kareem Hunt. Le'Veon Bell, though, much more touchdown upside. Cooks or Claypool, I'm going Cooks. Half PPR, Pollard or Ito Smith. Look, again, I think Ito is – I mean, I might just go with Pollard because realistically, the workload for Pollard in a split backfield with Zeke is probably at least getting close to Ito Smith, and I just trust – the Dallas game, run game and rushing attack and how they utilize their running backs more than I do Atlanta. So I guess I'm going to go with Pollard over Ito Smith. Maybe that's a little bit against the grain. I have no idea. But that's probably the direction I would go in because the ceiling is there too for Tony Pollard. Pick 2, Gus Pollard or QT full PPR. I'm going to go with QT. And again, I mean, it just depends on your risk tolerance. If you need the upside, go with Pollard. If not, I think Gus is safer. Gibson or Hunt in full PPR, my last decision of the year. Thanks for all the help throughout. I'm probably going to go with Kareem Hunt over Gibson. I think that the receiving upside is there today. Who's your favorite tier 3 wide receiver in DFS today? Darius Slayton's one who I think is kind of interesting with a banged up Ravens secondary. Not that I think that the Giants are going to go nuts, but Darius Slayton could see some love at 5K. Cam Sims, another one with no Terry McLaurin. I'm not really that into the Cleveland wide receivers because I think they run a lot of 13 and 12 personnel. So I'd probably go with those. Those are 2 guys. Jerry Jeudy, $5,200. Let's see. Need 1 wide receiver in standard. QT, one of the Chargers receivers, Williams or Tyron Johnson. Gage also available. I like Mike Williams today. I would go with Mike Williams. Hey, JJ, need 1 in full PPR. Gage, Myers, Pollard, or Goddard. I'm probably going to go with Gage there. Big Ben or Rivers, and thank you for all your hard work on the pod this season. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. I would go with Rivers. It's just tough to trust Big Ben right now. Cam or Bridgewater in a league that penalizes incompletions. I am going to go with, I guess, Bridgewater. Goddard or Cole Kmet. I'm going Goddard. Bell or Bernard. I'm going to go Bell. Full PPR, need 1. Chark Hanson, Malcolm Brown, or Ito. Man, it's really tough to trust DJ Chark right now. I'm going to go with Hanson there, but I think Malcolm Brown has a lot of touchdown upside. My other question, Robert Woods or Corey Davis. I'd go with Robert Woods. I think that he's safer. But if you need that ceiling, Corey Davis is probably the play. But I think I would just play Robert Woods. Bench 1, Hunt, Bernard, Bell. I'm going to bench Bernard if it's a PPR league. Mitch or Matt. Is that Matt Ryan and Mitch Trubisky? I am going to go with Mitch Trubisky. I don't mind Trubisky today. Can't trust Keenan Allen today, so T.Y. Hilton or Russell Gage. I'm going to go with Russell Gage. Full PPR, need one, Gibson, Henderson, or Bernard. I'm going to go with Gibson there. Hey, JJ, thanks for all your help this year. Half PPR flex, need floors. Okay, DJ Moore, Zach Moss, Noah Fan, and Russell Gage. Thanks again. I think Russell Gage is a really high floor, given the negative game script they're likely to see. But if you need, I think you need one, I'm assuming. If you need one, I'd go Gage. If you need two, I'd go Moore and Gage. Half point, Hanson, Robbie, Juju. Answered this one earlier. I'd probably go Robbie, but I think Juju's close. Juju, Corey Davis, Tyron Johnson, Marvin Hall need two. I'm going with the first two. Gage or Crowder to replace Landry. They're both sort of the same kind of guy. They have the same function. I'm going to go Jamison Crowder because I like his matchup a lot against what I said earlier. Cleveland's been horrible against slot guys. Crowder's playing the majority of his snaps from the slot, so I'm going to go with Crowder there. QT or Gage in standard. I'm going to go with Gage. Let's see. DJ Moore or Moss, full point PPR. Thanks, JJ. I'd probably go DJ Moore. Goddard or Ebron. I'm going to go Goddard. Mitch or Matt Ryan. Already answered that one. I'm going Mitch. Le'Veon Bell or Brandon Cooks in half PPR. I'd probably go with Bell. Half PPR flex, Gibson or Amari Cooper. I'm going Gibson. Bell or Bernard at my flex. Championship game, please. I'm going with Bell. Moss, Gallman, McKissick, or Edwards. Standard league, so I'm not going to go with McKissick. I'm going to go with Edwards there. I think there's some touchdown upside. Juju, QT, Hanson, Ito, Gus, and Tyron Johnson need two. So I'm going to go with the first two. I'm going to go with QT and Juju. Amari Cooper or Tyron Johnson, I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. Fant or Tunyon in PPR, I'm going Fant. Zigbo, Taylor, or Ogunbowale. Is that Jonathan Taylor? If it's Jonathan Taylor, you're definitely going Jonathan Taylor. Steelers D or the Washington D, I would still go with the Steelers defense. Chubb, worth his DFS price. I think he's a strong play. JZ, which two in PPR? Amari, Lockett, or Mooney? I'd probably bench Mooney of those. Carson or Deontay in PPR. I think Deontay's a little bit safer, honestly. But Carson has some touchdown upside in this game. So if you need upside, probably go with Chris Carson. If not, go with Deontay Johnson. CeeDee Lamb or Curtis Samuel. I think I'd go with CeeDee Lamb. Tyron Johnson or Pollard. Again, I don't know what you need for the Pollard questions because to me, he's a flex play that, has upside, yes. But if you're an underdog, I think in this question in particular, I'd probably go with Pollard. But it depends on your risk tolerance because he could easily just see the ball 4 or 5 times in this game. Amari, Pollard, QT, Zach Moss. I'm going to go with Amari there. Claypool or Brandon Cooks, not trusting Keenan Allen to play. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Brandon Cooks to me is definitely the play over Chase Claypool. Trubisky or Tannehill, I'm going Tannehill. Goddard or Thomas in PPR. That's Logan Thomas. Man, just seeing the name Thomas, it's Logan Thomas. I think I might go with Logan Thomas. He's seeing so much volume in that offense. I think he has a high floor in PPR formats. Who are your favorite tier 3? I already talked about that. Pick 2, half PPR, Le'Veon Bell, Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, James Conner. I'm going to go with Le'Veon and Deontay. Half point, Crowder, Azigbo, Mooney, AJ Green. I will go with Crowder. Superflex PPR need 2, Baker, Hooper, Fant, or Le'Veon Bell. I'm still going to go with the quarterback there. Lazard or Corey Davis. I'm going with Corey Davis. Gage or Lockett. If you need a floor, it's definitely Gage. I think Gage might be the play over Lockett, but if you need that ceiling, like if you're a huge underdog, that's when you go with Tyler Lockett. He has not been performing. He's been the wide receiver 51 since that big Arizona game that he had. So as a result of that, he's not very trustworthy, and now he gets a really tough opponent. So I don't love Tyler Lockett today at all, but we know the ceiling is there, whereas the ceiling is not there really for Russell Gage. So if you need that ceiling, go with Tyler Lockett. If not, I'd probably go with Russell Gage. Cleveland or the Washington defense, I think I'd go Washington at this point. Playing at home, we know the defense is really good. Cleveland, though, not a terrible play. Let's see, I think I already answered that one. Crowder or Gage to replace Landry, already answered that one too. I'd go Crowder. Goddard or Hooper, need upside for the ship. I think Hooper has the upside because they could target their tight ends at a really heavy rate. It just depends on which tight end they're going to go after most. I think Hooper is probably the guy just because he's been running the most routes on that team. And he saw a 20% target share last week, found the end zone. I think he's intriguing. I'd probably go with Hooper there. Sit 1, J.D. McKissick, Mike Davis, Marquise Brown, or is that Malcolm Brown? I'm not sure, so I'm going to skip that. Half PPR, Lockett or T.Y. I think you can go with T.Y. there. But again, if you need a ceiling, I do think Tyler Lockett has a better ceiling than T.Y. Cooks or Bell, I'm going to go with Bell. Jonnu or Knox, I'm going Jonnu. Antonio Gibson or J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins is probably a little bit safer. Just depends on what you need. But Gibson has a crazy ceiling because of what we've seen up until the point he got hurt. Hunt over Dobbins in full PPR. I think that's fine if you want to go that direction. Williams or Gage in full PPR. Is that Mike Williams, I'm assuming? So I'm going to go with Mike Williams there. Need one for the flex out of A-Rob, Amari, Miles Sanders, David Johnson. I'm going to go with Miles Sanders there. Bears or the Browns. I'm going with the Bears. I have the exact same dilemma in a championship matchup. Fantasy playoffs in 90% of my leagues since following you in 2013. Way to go. I appreciate that. Thanks for the shout. PPR pick 2, Le'Veon, Zeke, Pollard, or Mike Davis. I am going to go with probably Le'Veon. I think Mike Davis is a safer floor than Zeke and Pollard just because we don't know how that backfield is going to be split. Gage, Zeke, Hilton, thanks. PPR flex, I think I'd go Gage. Gage or QT, I think I'm going Gage. I guess I'm sort of high on Russell Gage today. Corey Davis or Russell Gage, I'm going to go Corey Davis. Not so fast. I like Corey Davis more. Big Ben or Hurts, definitely going Jalen Hurts. Gage or Riley. Is that Ridley? You're playing Ridley over Russell Gage. Gage or Cooks. I am going with Cooks. Taylor, or I love how I said that I like Russell Gage, and in the next 3 questions, I'm picking the guy opposite of Gage. Taylor or Woods in full PPR. I think Taylor's probably the play. He's a little bit safer, but don't mind Woods at all today. Full PPR, pick 1, Lockett, QT, or Gage. I think Gage is the safest play, but you're already starting Ridley. If you need the ceiling, you can go with Lockett there. Let's see. Le'Veon, Kareem Hunt, Gio, or Pollard. Not going Pollard because we don't know the backfield's going to be split. I will go with Le'Veon and Kareem Hunt. If you're picking one, I'm going to go with Le'Veon. Would you bench Zeke for Gage or Kiki at the flex in half PPR? Toughest decision of the year. I mean, in half PPR, I think I might just go with Zeke and just hope that they ride him a little bit, but it's very, very close. I don't have a very strong opinion there because, again, this backfield, I don't know. We don't know. That this is just what happens sometimes in fantasy football. And as an analyst, I can't sit here and pretend that I know for sure because it's not fair to you guys. Pick 2 PPR, A.J. Brown, Kareem Hunt, and Robert Woods. I'm going to go with the wide receivers there in PPR. Lockett or Higgins in full PPR. Higgins is safer, but Lockett has a ceiling. So if you need the ceiling, go with Lockett. PPR, David Johnson or Gibson. I think David Johnson's probably the play. Mooney or Claypool. Claypool has a ceiling, but I think Mooney's a little bit safer. Matt Ryan or Jared Goff. I'd probably go with Matt Ryan. Who are you paying up for on FanDuel today? Calvin Ridley, Tyreek Hill, both good plays. Nick Chubb, I don't think is a bad play. And then I think you pay up at quarterback. There's good quarterback plays, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson. Let's see. Juju, T. Higgins, or QT. Full point PPR need 2. I'm going to go with Juju and T. Higgins. Gus or Pollard in full PPR. I guess I'm going with Gus. Watkins or Mooney. I'm going to go with Watkins and just get that game environment, capture that. Half point PPR, Beasley, Corey Davis, Mike Williams. I am going to go with Corey Davis. McKissick, Mike Davis, or Le'Veon Bell need 2. I'm going to go with the latter 2. Any downside to starting all 3 Hurts, Sanders, and Goddard? Yeah, the downside is that the Eagles suck and they don't do anything. But I think they're all good plays individually. Le'Veon Bell or Darnell Mooney. I'm going Le'Veon Bell. David Johnson, Hunt, or Bell, pick 2. Probably benching Hunt, but I think you could maybe bench Bell. I mean, I could talk myself into any of those 3. Looking for floor, though, I think I'd go DJ and Bell. Kmet or Harrison Bryant, love the show. I think I'd still go with Kmet, but I could see a scenario where Harrison Bryant ends up doing well just because they're probably going to run a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets. Full PPR, Henderson or Hunt. I think I'd go with Hunt in a full PPR league. Deontay Johnson or Amari Cooper. I'm going Deontay Johnson. Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. I got this question about 8 times today. I'm going to end on this. I don't know. If you're a favorite, I think I'd go with Josh Allen. If not, I'd go with Jalen Hurts. That's going to do it, though, guys. It's 12:30. It's time for me to head out. I just want to say thank you for tuning in all season long. There's been 16 weeks of this. You guys have been a pleasure talking to each and every week. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys have gained something from it and you've done well in your fantasy leagues and you're about to win a fantasy championship. And a big, big thank you to our producer, Calvin Theobald, who has been here with me every single week this season, all 16 weeks. Otherwise, guys, good luck week 16. I'm on Twitter at LateRoundQB. You can ask me some questions on there. Good luck. Let's win some fantasy championships.